glorious. The word of the Lord. So complete this sentence. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. Yeah, that's a common adage. And some of you may remember a TV sitcom years ago called Home Improvement, Tool the Tin Man Taylor. Yeah, and he's well known in that series for taking something that's functioning just fine and wanting to make it better, right? And so what was the humorous part? Well, he always broke it, right? And then couldn't fix it again. And that sitcom's really the story of humanity, right? Taking what isn't broken, trying to fix it, make it better, and breaking it. God had created the world, which on the sixth day he observed and said, everything is very good, right? Perfect harmony, everything working together. There was nothing to fear. There was no stress. There was no death or dying, right? Everything was just the way God wanted it to be. But Satan entered the picture and told Adam and Eve that what was perfect could be better. Yes, they were created in the image of God. They could have this relationship with God, this wonderful relationship of love and trust under him as his creatures. But Satan said it would be better if you eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because if you do, then you will be like God. It'll be a step up for you. And they believed him. And they ate. Things didn't get better. They broke what was perfect. Instead of being like God, the image of God in which they were created had been shattered. Now they knew shame and they knew fear. They who were created in this loving relationship of creator versus creature, in sync spiritually and in thought and word and deed and action, now they were at odds with God. They were rotten right to the core, and all of their children would be born just the same. And to impress upon them just what a terrible thing they had done by turning against their Maker, God took his perfect creation and he subjected it to decay. So that plants now didn't all remain in the place that God had created them. Some now became invasive weeds, right? Bees didn't sting, dogs didn't bite, but they do now, right? Some of the animals now became predators who would devour not just other animals, but even humans. Viruses and bacteria that belong on the outside of us infect us. And worst of all, there was a new normal now. What God had threatened would happen, death. You hear about death every day, don't you? It's ever present. And just as Tim the Tool Man Taylor couldn't fix what he had broken, humanity cannot fix what it has broken either. And so some think Christmas, which we're about to celebrate, is about trying to fix what has been broken, right? And so Christmas is a time for focusing on making peace, being neighbors to those who are next to us, helping the poor, visiting those who are sick and shut in. And well, yes, outwardly those are great and wonderful things, but you know what it can't fix? It can't fix what's broken on the inside of us. What's broken between us and God in heaven. And so, because we have these malfunctioning hearts, there's nothing that we can do to improve the present. It's kind of like someone who puts a shiny paint job on a car that has a blown engine, right? Yeah, it looks nice on the outside, but the inside, it can't work. God created us to fear, love, and trust in Him above all things. Can't do it. Just can't. And because we're broken on the inside, all of these broken things happen on the outside of us, right? The things we do to each other and we fail to do for each other. That's the way it is now. That's the way it has been. It's the way it was during the days of the prophet Isaiah. And he spoke of his people then, saying, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts, what's on the inside, they're broken. They're far from me. And so that tall tree that was the bloodline of David, that chosen nation of Israel, it was cut down. That tall tree brought low. And actually it became twice dead, right? This stump that was cut down when the Babylonians took the nation of Judah captive. 70 years later, Zerubbabel led a group back, and he was a descendant of David, led them back from captivity to Jerusalem. But then the Greek Empire came in and removed him from power and his bloodline. And there was this stump of Jesse looking rotten and ragged and forever gone. Left many people wallowing in despair, right? It's so broken that no one can ever fix it. We can't restore what is lost. And the same is true for you and me. You know, in our own lives, there are so many things we ruin, right? People who once looked at you with respect and with pride, after an angry outburst, now look at you with disgust and maybe fear? Huh? And how do you get that back? The career that you spent years building, but lost because you misdirected some finances of a client. Can't get that back. The rollover that took place because you were driving impaired and left someone else either dead or permanently unable to walk. How do you fix that? Those are the kinds of things we break in this world, and we can't put them back together again. And brothers and sisters, if we can't fix those kinds of things that we've broken outwardly, is it even possible for us to fix what we've broken inwardly? If fellow sinners look on you and me with disgust, then how much more our holy God in heaven? If we can't fix what's been broken physically, what we've broken physically, how can we fix what's broken spiritually on the inside of us? What hope do we have if we fix our eyes on the present that we can't improve? Well, there's none in that. But Isaiah, in a lesson before us, was looking forward from his point of view. And he saw Christmas. He saw Christmas in the second half of our lesson. He speaks of the end results of that. But before that, in the first part, he speaks of this stump of Jesse, that twice dead bloodline. From it now miraculously sprouts a shoot, a green one. And it's to be unlike David and his human descendants. This one is one who would have the spirit of wisdom and understanding resting upon it. Wouldn't make wrong decisions. would do everything that was in keeping with the word and counsel of the Lord. He would have the spirit of knowledge and fear dwelling in him. It says he would delight in the fear of the Lord. In other words, doing all the right things for all the right reasons. And then it goes on that it says that he would decide not by what he sees with his eyes or hears with his ears. So he's not just going to look on the outside and judge the book by its cover. He's going to judge it by what's on the inside. And that's important for you and me to understand, because what he's going to judge by is by what's in the heart. To those who are the wicked, who have in their hearts animosity for the Lord, the voice of his mouth, his breath will slay them. But those who have worked in their hearts by his word, trust in him. The needy, the poor, those who realize that they have nothing with which to fix what they've broken, and they look to him, they are the ones for whom he will fix all things. You look to Christmas and you see Christ. You see this stump of Jesse. And you see what he was born to do. You see what he did do for you. His life, his death. In his life, you have righteousness to hold on to. In death, you have your curse satisfied, right? The curse of sin covered. That's what Jesus sees in you. And he has fixed what was broken on the inside of you, right? Not perfectly yet, but you are being renewed in the image of God, the scriptures tell us. Right now, in the present. And then beautifully in the middle of this text, Isaiah shifts from what Jesus was born to do after his first coming to Jesus' second coming. When he comes again in the skies, he says, this is what we're ultimately looking to now in that stump of Jesse, right, in that shoot. One who is going to restore everything that was broken, fully and completely. Listen to how he describes that world for you and for me. The wolf will live with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the goat. What? They don't coexist with each other in this world, right? One devours the other. But things will be put back to the way they were in the beginning. Brothers and sisters, when Jesus comes again, he will make a new heaven and a new earth. The home for all who put their hope and their trust in him. And in that place, he uses the picture of children putting their hands in the nest of a viper or cobra. You know, imagine turning your child outside today. What do parents do? They're terrified of letting them alone, right? Now, we aren't told there's going to be children in heaven. We don't know that. But the picture is, you turn everybody loose, and you don't have to be afraid of anything bad happening to them. Even if they stick their hand in the cobra's nest, it's not going to bite. Bees won't sting. The bacteria and the viruses that should be on the outside of us will stay on the outside of us. There will be no invasive weeds. There will be no need for hospitals because there won't be any sicknesses. No need for law enforcement because there won't be any crime. It boggles the mind to imagine even what an hour of that world will be like, much less an eternity of it. And that's where the Lord wants you and me to focus our eyes at Christmas. To lift them from the present to what will be. And so, brothers and sisters, as you go forward throughout the season of Christmas, yes, we deal with the present, we live in the present. But this isn't all there is. Just as you look forward to, as a child, opening those Christmas gifts, because you know something really nice is going to be in those, right? Oh, how we look forward to unwrapping and unpacking that new world that Jesus will bring for you and for me when he comes again. And so we look away from the present to the future because of what happened in the past, right? In a Bethlehem barn, for you and for me, Christ, the stump of Jesse, sprouting and blooming forth, so that we might be his own and live with him and for him now and forever. Yes, look forward to that and never lose sight of it. And then you will have Christmas joy that doesn't end. Amen.